been a couple of years. I cannot believe it. It's been 2 years since we spoke last, at least here on the radio.
At least.
I know.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about it. So first of all, who are you? Let's refresh people's memories. So, Mary Jo, where do you come from? I mean, you've been an athlete and you've been in athletics, gosh, all your life, right?
All of my life, since I was a youngster. I grew up in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and throughout college and my adult life, I played college athletics, and then I was a professional baseball player with the ladies pro baseball. And then I moved up to Alaska 5 years ago, and I was just a stay-at-home mom, homeschooling my son. And I met a couple of gals up at the swimming pool, and the rest is history. I started training, a dozen women maybe, and it grew into Alaska Training Room.
And how many, just roughly, so you went from a dozen people, a little informal, sort of ad hoc, to now a very formal facility and an incredible allegiance of people that are ATR. About how many people will you see in a given class now?
Anywhere from, 15 to up to 35 sometimes. So I probably train 100 to 125 people a day,
wow,
which blows my mind. I can't even wrap my brain around that.
Wow, that's incredible. So I can say for a fact, I interviewed you because Tiffany was going to the first iteration of the Alaska Training Room at I believe it was at the Harbor School of Dance, and so she was going there, and maybe the occasional Saturday up at the high school or something here in Homer. And she said, "You're going to love Mary Jo. You got to meet MJ. You talk to her." And I said, "Okay, I will, but I'm not going to go." The Alaska Training Room, that's great. That's good for you, honey, but I'm not going to go. But I'll interview MJ. And now I am a complete addict 2 years later. I can't think of anybody that this isn't right for. In other words, the way you train, you train people of all ages, don't you, and all abilities.
I do. I actually have a couple of 11-year-olds that come in the afternoon. And then in the morning, I have several people who are in their 70s and a couple of 80-year-olds that actually participate as well. So it is right for everybody. And that's my biggest thing that I'm proud of, Chris, is that you could be a great cross-country skier, you could be a triathlete, and right next to you could be a housewife who's trying to shed 20 or 30 pounds. And it's a community. Everybody supports everyone else. It's tremendous. I'm so proud of it.
And I can tell you, just as my own experience would tell, I never in my life, 42 years old, never prior to meeting you would have, no, I'm not a gym guy. I've never been to a gym. That just isn't for me. There's something different about how you train, the facility, tell me about it. Where does it come from? In other words, is this something that the techniques you use, is that something you would have trained yourself as a pro athlete and or some of the tennis stars you've worked with and so forth? Are we doing similar things that you would have done with the pros?
Absolutely. We're doing everything that I did with the pros. We're just doing bits and pieces of it. Every week I create a mosaic of exercises, and there's a target goal for each workout. And whether we're working lateral movement and working your obliques and your core, or we're really trying to build the legs, we have a real heavy week of legs or a real heavy week of upper body. These are all exercises that I've taken from 30 years of training so many different types of athletes, professional, recreational, college, prepubescent. So I've taken all of my experience, and I don't want to hurt anybody. So I'm constantly thinking of how can I challenge them without creating overuse injuries or injuring them. People become injured because they don't have the proper foundation to be doing exercises that everyone else is doing. But what I do is I create the foundation. And so you could be working as hard as you want by how hard you push yourself, but it's the same exercises that the guy next to you is doing who's a superior athlete, and you're just beginning. There is a real method to my madness, believe it or not.
I do believe it. I do. And the other thing that I would add to that is, being one of your pupils, is that you're constantly preaching to modify. In other words, you don't need to lift the heaviest, do the lightest, or if you're, maybe your shoulder's a little tender or something, try it a different way. And one of the things people need to understand is that when you go to the Alaska Training Room, you're not left to your own devices. In fact, if I know for a fact that if I do something just a little, I'm a little bit low in lifting this or whatever, you're right there and providing that excellent coaching and training that, like I said, I've become addicted to it and sincerely enjoy it. What keeps you going though, MJ? I mean, we have you, right? And that keeps us going. What keeps you motivated and what keeps you staying strong and fit and pushing yourself?
I'm really a one-woman show. So I have a split schedule, which allows me for some downtime in the middle of the day. I come in the morning, and you all really supply the energy. So you fill my cup as I train you. In the evenings, then I've got to get I re-ramp up, and those people bring a certain energy. I think every class has a different energy, and at the end of the day, I say, gosh, that flew. That was fun. I never. I don't have a job. I feel very blessed that I come to work and I do what I do and I just love it. And so I think if you're not in the position that you do something like that, then, you don't enjoy what you do and you don't gather energy from others. But I really enjoy it and that's important to me. But I've got my son, Ian, who is a constant joy to me. I go home and I spend time with him. I've got a partner who gives me love and support. And I've got you all. Really, you're a community. You're like family to me.
You've become, and I know you're not going to take it any easier on me the next time I'm in just because I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. You've become immersed in this community like maybe I've never seen anybody else to come in as a utter and complete stranger, no offense, but seriously just new to a community. You are one of the most respected and well-liked individuals in the community, and I respect you immensely and just really admire what you've done, and thank you. One person said to me, they no longer live in the state, they moved, but she said, Chris, do you realize MJ is literally changing the lives of everybody she comes into contact with? And I think that's the honest to God's truth.
That is very kind, Chris. I'm speechless. That's lovely, and that's very kind, and I love Homer, and that's my home.
Mary Jo, it's been a pleasure. AlaskaTrainingRoom.com, AlaskaTrainingRoom.com. I personally endorse, suggest, recommend that you get to know MJ, and trust me, she'll get to know you. Thank you so much, MJ.
Thanks, Chris.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Stand a little taller.